right, guys, welcome back to the 1 in 20 show. I'm your host, Evan Rogers, and today I'm joined by Camden Espino. Camden is a fun-sized 6'5" musical theater lover who is obsessed with the great Stephen Sondheim, coined by his username Sondheim is Bay. He is currently attending the highly prestigious New York University studying drama in the Tisch program. Camden, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So you and I met back in, I believe it was 2015.
Yeah.
In a performance of Peter Pan way back in the day.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's been 3 years. And then we went from there and shared Gaston together.
That's correct. We were double cast as Gaston in Escape's production of Beauty and the Beast. And then, oh gosh, we've been, I don't know, blood brothers ever since.
You could say that.
Yeah.
We at least are the similar height.
Right.
Even though we look very different.
It helps.
It does help. What was it like? So I know that your favorite role to play was Tevye.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is a very iconic musical theater role. And
sure.
I know that you and Saugus High ended up going to Pantages to do it on stage in Jerry Herman Awards. And so just fill me in. What was the whole Tevye experience like?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was probably the most work I had to put in for a role. It was just when we got the announcement that we were doing Fiddler, I had to scour the internet for scripts, and I found, I just had to. I picked up a script at Barnes and Nobles, and I just
remember
through
that
a bunch of times, and I made sure that I was memorized because I felt that Tevye was something I needed to play,
Yeah.
So I was pretty much off book by day one of rehearsal.
Wow.
And I got in contact with the Tevye on Broadway at the time, Danny Burstein. He gave me some advice for the role, and that really helped a lot too. I think. Gosh, it's such an iconic role that
Yeah.
it's hard to try to make your own. You'll always end up pulling something or other from the other portrayals that I saw, but
Yeah.
it's just so fulfilling, I guess, to be on stage as Tevye.
Yeah,
to sing Rich Man.
Yeah, and such an iconic show too that
Absolutely.
just runs so deeply.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they don't make shows like that anymore.
No, they don't. Everything is a lot different now. That's why when somebody tries to tamper with a traditional show, like
Sure.
in the revival version, it's like that. You want to wag your finger at them because it's like, this is like sacred
this
ground.
Is how it's done, right?
Yeah, right. Like me and Travis my brother were just watching Sit Down, You Rock in the Boat from Guys and Dolls in, I think, the revival they did in, I don't remember,
2009?
Something like that, 2009.
Yeah.
And it was totally slow paced and
Right.
didn't have the same punchiness, and it's just
all about, I don't know, I think, but like the specialty with a lot of Bartlett Shear's revivals of those classic shows. He had The King and I, Fiddler, and South Pacific. He just did My Fair Lady, that's on Broadway right now. He has such a way of capturing just a very human reality of it all, and I think that's why he can do justice to those classic shows.
No, definitely. Yeah.
Quick shout out to Bart Shear.
Yeah. So, let's keep going off. I want to ask you a little more about like the whole Jerry Herman process and what it was like trying to prep for, to do Rich Man, right? That's what you did in front of, was it Rich Man? I can't remember what you did.
We did Tradition.
Tradition.
Yeah.
And what was that like just on that stage with so much history and,
it was insane because we had so little prep time in the theater. We had one run through and then the show. So just getting up on that Book of Mormon set and looking out onto the Pantage, it feels so big in the house, but when you're on stage you can see every seat, and then when you're performing everyone's
and that's 2,300 seats for those of you who don't know. I mean, that's pretty much double the size of a little pigeonhole Broadway theater that are all lined up. These were huge. And it's crazy to think that they tried way back when after they had built Broadway in New York, they had tried to come and do so in LA, and that's why there's a Broadway street. But now half of those theaters are littered with, now they're actually like just havens for people to sell all of their goods and stuff. They're just a facade.
They're
honestly
either empty or they've been converted to a movie theater or just
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, you could see a lot of that, like we talked about with just how all of these shows, even like revival shows, are going on tour.
Sure. Yeah.
And how it's kind of cool to see where theaters now reaching out to just now more. I think Hamilton, like we had talked about a long time ago, like Hamilton like revolutionized that sort of the modernization of theater, I think, again.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah,
but I know
6
you're big
productions going on concurrently. Like, you can't deny the sheer magnitude of it all. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, just the reach. It's an international show, basically.
Yeah.
Now it is.
How many companies again were we were talking about? I can't remember how many.
It's 3 tours and 3 permanent productions. So you got Chicago, New York, London, and then the Angelica, Philip, and Peggy tours.
Wow, it's just amazing. I mean, and cool to see how Lin-Manuel just took theater and made it a little bit more commonplace for people who listen to hip hop and who listen to pop. And I know that's something that's been special to you too. Now let's segue into Stephen Sondheim.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about why you have had such like a amazing fascination for him.
Sure. I think he's usually revered as the grandfather of contemporary American musical theater, and then if you just listen to it, it's just the complexities. I was watching Frasier the other day, and they made a joke. He was saying Niles and I were having a debate over whether Sondheim is actually light opera, and that doesn't make any sense for non-Frasier fans. But it's, sorry, I'm getting off track here. But
no.
Let's see. How did I stumble upon Sondheim? It was really late night, and I came across. I had heard Sweeney Todd mentioned in my childhood. We would have, we would just mention just stuff with our cousins about different horror characters and spooky scenarios that we'd put ourselves in, right? As kids do. Yeah. And Sweeney Todd always came up, and I was like, that's an interesting horror icon. Let me look it up. And it's a musical.
Yeah.
I was like, this is interesting. And then I stumbled upon it was a 1982 telecast with George Hearn and Angela Lansbury of the original Broadway production. I just saw it on YouTube. I caught it at like 12:30 at night, and I watched the whole thing. Yeah. And I was flabbergasted.
It's a breathtaking show. It really is.
Right. Sondheim's like way with words that can be so concise yet so like how does he find the words?
Profound.
Right. And I think Into the Woods, that telecast, and the 2006 revival of Company were on Netflix at the time, so I saw those two, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy, what's he doing?
Oh my, how long has he been? I just looked up today. I mean, he's born in 1930. Right, he's been around.
He's been around,
and some people don't even they think of something like Sweeney Todd as just the movie. Right. And they don't realize who wrote this, who wrote the music, and Joanna, and all the songs that are beautiful.
Absolutely.
The Legend of Sweeney Todd. And he's just an incredible artist. And we're almost at the halfway point, so I'm going to start introing the halfway quiz.
Oh no.
So this pertains a little bit for you to Sondheim.
Okay.
And a little bit of Lin-Manuel.
Oh, all right.
And a little bit of both. And there's 3 questions. Yeah, the maestros.
Sure.
So, I'm going to give you 15 seconds.
Oh, no.
Per question.
Okay.
And the first one is... Let me get my stopwatch. The first one is how many musicals did Sondheim write? Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Oh, gosh. Is this music and lyrics?
Yeah. It's kind of a shocker.
It's hovering somewhere around. I'm gonna give the bracket 12 to 15.
Really close.
Oh, is it?
It's he actually ended up writing 19.
19. Wow.
19. He had a couple that were performed in college that he had written like early on.
I know, yeah, because he wrote The Frogs, and that was performed in a swimming pool at Yale. And then he wrote it's called a show called Evening Primrose. It was from a TV movie.
Yes. Those count.
Anthony Hopkins. Those count. So yeah.
So I guess it's 19. It's 19. Pretty incredible.
Wow.
Pretty incredible. Okay, so I know that you're also a Miranda fan, Lin Miranda.
Mm-hmm.
So next question is, how many words do you think are in Hamilton? Ready and go.
Oh, it's something like 300,000. Something real crazy like that.
Do you want to end your guess there? Do you want to try something a little lower? It's not that much.
300? No, I mean, sorry. Wait, what am I thinking?
it's time. What were you thinking? Were you thinking 30,000?
30,000, yeah.
You're right around there. It's 20,000.
Okay.
520.
What am I thinking?
Yeah. It's like, how long is this? This isn't Angels in America, a 7-hour show. No, it's
just a verbatim read through of the book.
Yeah, right. So 20,000 words, which means that it's estimated around 144 per minute, which is crazy. That's like Eminem style stuff, like Rap God. That's crazy. Okay, and then third question is...
I just humiliated myself on this podcast.
300,000. Oh my. Okay, so... What famous Sondheim... This should be easy. What famous Sondheim musical revival did Lin-Manuel help translate some English into Spanish for in 2009?
That's West Side Story.
West Side Story. Ding, ding, ding. You got that one easy. No problem there. 300,000.
300,000.
96,000? No, that's great. Okay, so coming back in to the cast. The podcast, that is. So you and I had an interesting conversation over coffee a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. And, we were just talking about NYU and that experience so far. And I wanted you to kind of share, what is it that sets you apart from the guy next to you when it comes to theater, and when you hit New York and in college and you realize, wow, this is not high school anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm not the best one, and now there's 3 to 4 people who are just as good as me. What sets me apart? And we were talking about character and all that stuff, so I wanted to hear from you.
I think especially in a business such as theater, where it's all about interpersonal communication. It's all about how easy it is to work with you, because you can be the most talented person in the room, but if no one wants to work with you, no one's going to work with you. Right. Especially with a New York temperament, right? People are less wise to your bullcrap there. Yeah. 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 Because people, they've got places to go. So if you're not going to work with them, they'll drop you. Right. So it's your willingness to do work. And it's also to I guess perseverance is another thing. Yeah. Because it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to be an actor in New York.
No, and we talked about how I think the niche is almost even a lot smaller than even the film world. Like, people who come out, I think you probably have more people coming to LA, right, for Hollywood and for film. But in the same right, there are so many chances to create a film. Anybody can kind of create a film, but with Broadway, there's so little chances to get on a show. And then you have off Broadway at the Public and different theaters, but it's not as big of an opportunity. So that's interesting.
Right, because with film you can go out with your phone and create whatever you want. In theater you can grab a couple of friends, write something and put it up in your backyard, but to be on that Broadway stage, it takes a village, and actors are not 100% of that village. No,
there's egos in Hollywood as well. But
oh yeah, of course.
What to you has been the biggest takeaway from NYU? Because we had talked about just how in the drama program that you're in, that you're getting kind of method acting, and how does that play out?
I'm studying method acting at the Lee Strasberg Institute for Film and Television, and his method for the method, as it were, was to create a reality where otherwise there wouldn't be one in your performance. So, if you've ever seen someone on stage with an empty cup and they're supposed to hold, a piping hot cup of coffee, and you can tell that it's empty, that breaks the reality. So everything we do, thinking about the smallest details, from a cup to the weather conditions to your relationship to the other person, it all has to feed into the reality. And I think that it's all very specific, it's all very detail oriented, and nothing. If something is an accident, it better be because you've been focusing so much on everything else.
Right, because if you need to make the audience feel the scene, like you said, like if it's hot. If it's a hot scene,
you need to know. Yeah. You need to let people know that if your character doesn't like the heat, they're irritable.
Right.
They're short tempered. You're fidgeting around with yourself.
Right.
All that stuff. It all the physical and the emotional responses to just a weather condition. That's why Tennessee Williams always has his place set in the heat, because if there were air conditioning, there'd be a lot less drama.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that's amazing. I mean, that's the kind of training you pay for, right? That's what you pay the big bucks for, that you don't really get anywhere else. I know we had chatted about that. Now we're getting toward the end already. Wow. What is your number one favorite snack food? What celebrity would you most want to spend the day with, and where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, okay.
So snack food.
Snack food. I'm really currently in a Cheez-It phase right now.
Yeah.
You never think of Cheez-Its and go like, those are bad.
Yeah.
No one has ever said, I don't like Cheez-Its, right?
Right. No,
it's a very reliable snack food. Right.
Cheese is in everything.
Cheese is in everything.
Every snack food.
Right.
Right.
Celebrity I'd want to hang out with, Ryan Gosling. He just seems so cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to spend the day with him and do cool Ryan Gosling stuff.
What's your favorite Gosling movie?
My favorite? I love La La Land.
Yeah.
It's got a special place in my heart.
Yeah. That's a harsh reality, that movie. I mean, it's so beautiful. Right. And then you realize that's it. That's how it is in that lifestyle. And then last 2 minutes, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Hopefully not unemployed.
Because you're going into sophomore year.
I'm going into sophomore year,
right.
Yeah.
So you'll be graduated.
The next 3 years.
Yeah.
Or who knows how long I'll be at NYU before I graduate. Mm-hmm. It's hard to think that far ahead with in this time in my life, right? Mm-hmm. With it's and the way that the art world is, you kind of if you don't jump in now, when are you gonna do it?
Right.
So 5 years, it's tough to see exactly where I might be, but I know I want to be at a point of creation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to be stagnant.
Right. And that means go into a little bit of that, because I know you.
Sure.
In just the last 30 seconds.
I just want to surround myself with creative people who want to make art.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do what I need to get there, but hopefully, as long as I'm in that world, I'm where I want to be. Yeah.
Well, Camden, it was really great to have you on today.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me.
And looks like I'm doing a little better in this episode of keeping it all in and together. So you guys, thank you for listening. This has been the 1 in 20 show, and I am actually under 20 minutes, so this is a good thing. We'll have a new episode up for you shortly, and thank you for listening.